All right, let's jump right in. We're talking about something that is completely changing the game for anyone making content online. Look, the question isn't if AI is going to change the creator economy anymore. It's about how you can use it to create way more without completely burning yourself out.
Pretty much every single creator I know, and probably you too, runs into this exact problem. It feels like you're in this constant battle, right? Juggling quality, quantity, and honestly, your own sanity. The pressure to pump out amazing content day after day is just, it's a lot.
Does that sound familiar? Yeah. This is the heart of the problem. You got to feed the algorithm, you want to grow your audience, and you need to stay creative, all without hitting a massive wall. But what if the solution was already here? Let's take a look at some of the wild results people are getting.
Okay, let's just start with this number, 10x. Creators who are actually putting AI into their workflow, they aren't just making a little more content. They are producing 10 times more. And no, that is not a typo. Just imagine going from, say, 2 articles a week to cranking out 3 high-quality articles a day. That is the kind of scale we're talking about here.
And listen, it's not just about cranking out more stuff. All that extra content, it's translating directly into income. On average, creators who are using these tools are seeing their earnings jump by 150%. It's a pretty simple equation, really. More content means more eyeballs, which leads to more revenue. Now, for anybody out there who has ever spent hours, days, agonizing over video production, this number is an absolute game changer. A 65% cut in production time. Just think about that for a second. The stuff that used to take you days of tedious, mind-numbing editing can now get done in just a few hours, sometimes even less.
So here's the most important part. This isn't some sci-fi, far-off future prediction. No. This revolution is happening as we speak, right now. The tools are out there, they're incredibly powerful, and the folks who jumped on board early are already seeing massive results. And just take a look at this. A whopping 78% of creators are already using AI tools. This isn't some niche little trend, It's fast becoming the new standard for the industry. And that number? It's going up every single month.
And this quote from Sarah Johnson over at Adobe, it just nails why this is happening. She says, AI has democratized content creation. What does that mean? It means the playing field is being leveled. It means you don't need a giant budget or a huge team anymore to make content that looks and sounds incredible.
Now, what's so interesting about this is that it completely busts a huge myth. A lot of people think using AI means you have to sacrifice quality for speed, but the data? It tells a totally different story. We're seeing a 42% jump in engagement and, get this, a 50% drop in production costs. So you're getting better results for less money. Okay, so you get it. You see the potential. But where do you even begin? Let's actually break down the essential tools that are powering this whole new way of creating. Think of this as your new digital toolbox. All right, when it comes to writing, these are the heavy hitters. You've got your all-arounders like ChatGPT and Claude. They're amazing for brainstorming or writing long articles. But then, if you really need to write something that sells, a specialized tool like Jasper is built from the ground up for marketing. The main thing to remember is, whatever you need, there's a tool out there that fits your specific goal and your budget.
And now for video. This is where things start to feel like science fiction. Seriously, a tool like Runway ML can take a simple sentence, just a basic text description, and generate a high-res 4K video clip right out of thin air. This just wipes out the need for expensive cameras, fancy locations, or scrolling through stock footage for hours. So what about audio? We all know voiceovers can be a real pain, but a tool like 11 Labs can create a perfect digital clone of your own voice. You just type out a script, hit a button, and it reads it back perfectly. Every time. It saves you so many hours in a recording booth. Okay, so let's put all these pieces together. A 5-minute video that might have taken you a full day, or even more before, you can now knock that out in under an hour. You generate the script with one tool, the voice with another, create your visuals, and then you use an AI editor to stitch it all together. It's a lean, mean content-creating machine. But look, having all the cool tools is one thing. Using them strategically, well, that's what separates the amateurs from the pros. AI isn't just an assistant that does grunt work. It can actually be your lead strategist.
This is where you get really tactical. First up, trend analysis. If you combine data from Google Trends with the brainpower of ChatGPT, you can actually predict what topics are going to be huge weeks before everyone else catches on. Then, smart SEO. That's just a fancy way of saying how people find you. With tools like Surfer, you can optimize your content perfectly and see huge jumps in traffic, like the 67% increase we see here. This is how you stop just competing and start dominating.
Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room. The biggest worry people have is, won't my content just sound like a robot wrote it? And that's a fair question, but the answer is a hard no, as long as you remember the single most important part of the whole process: you. And this slide says it all. The raw stuff that comes out of an AI, it's fine, but it's generic. But when you step in, the human in the loop, and you add your own personal stories, you inject your unique style, the quality just skyrockets. We're talking a 58% jump. AI gives you the first draft, but you're the one who gives it a soul. Dr. Michael Chen really nails it with this quote. He says the biggest mistake is thinking AI is some kind of magic wand. It's not. It is an unbelievably powerful co-pilot for sure. But you are still the one flying the plane. Your skill and your strategy are what make it all work. So, if you're the pilot, how do you get into the cockpit without feeling totally overwhelmed? Let's map out a super simple, step-by-step plan for your first week to make this feel real and doable. This makes it so much easier to start. Day 1, that's it. Just play around with ChatGPT, no pressure. By day 3, try making some images. Day 4, you're piecing together your first little video. See, the goal isn't to be perfect. The goal is just to experiment and learn. By the end of 1 week, you'll have a solid foundation you can actually build on. And that's really the bottom line, isn't it? The tools are here, the strategies are proven, the opportunity is absolutely massive. This isn't about some distant future. It's about right now. Success is going to belong to the creators who decide to start learning and adapting today. So I'll just leave you with this one last thought. The projection is that by 2030, 90% of all content you see online will be assisted by AI. So the wave is already here. The only question left is, are you going to ride it, or are you going to be left watching from the shore?